As we mentioned on the wrestling news update this morning that you should definitely go and watch, there will be no thigh slapping in WWE from this moment onwards. They made a sign and everything. That is now in place at the gorilla position on all shows apparently, so you'll no longer hear that sweet sound of leg not hitting bone when Jey Uso performs a perfect super kick. We'll probably talk more about that in future videos, but for now, here's 8 other strange and unusual things you didn't realize were banned in WWE. Number 8. Reaching out into the crowd. Ever wonder why we don't see more WWE stars launching themselves into the crowd and celebrating arm in arm with supporters in the wake of a career-defining victory? And no, it's not because they're all currently being beamed into the Thunderdome via LED screens, you smartass. It's actually due to the fact that our favorite WWE guys and gals are usually forced to pay a hefty fine if and when they choose to get a little too close to the crowd. According to Hall of Famer Mark Henry, wrestlers are forced to pay $70,000 should they break this specific rule. Of course, the company does allow a little bit of leeway with this particular law, with most wrestlers being allowed to high-five the crowd on their way to and from the ring. But there's certainly a line Vince McMahon doesn't want his stars to cross, and if they do, their wallets will be left feeling that much lighter because of it. Number 7. Certain terminology. With WWE being a largely PG product over the last decade or so, those who've witnessed the likes of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT in that time will be well aware that swear words are, for the most part, non-existent on air. Besides the likes of bitch, piss, and ass, which make a sporadic comeback all at once from time to time, curse words are pretty much banned from WWE TV and tend to be censored should they slip out of a star's mouth. Away from those expected no-nos, however, there's also a number of other odd phrases that are never allowed to be uttered during a broadcast. Among these bizarrely banished terms are belt, title shot, hospital, pro wrestler and pro wrestling, faction, fans, and many, many more. The severe lack of some of these specific phrases on WWE TV has largely gone unnoticed in some cases. Yet when it comes to the company constantly referring to a hospital as a local medical facility, it's fair to say the majority of fans are left rolling their eyes. Number 6. Independent merchandise. WWE have made mountains of cash out of the merchandise they sell with their various stars' faces and branding slapped all over it. Now, the wrestlers attached to these specific pieces of apparel or accessories do take home a percentage of the profits made from this merch. But if they feel like broadening their horizons and earning some extra dollar from their likeness outside of the company, the chances are they're gonna land themselves in hot water with old Vinnie Mac. This is due to the fact that most stars sign a contract with the company which states that WWE alone owns the rights to use their intellectual property for manufacture and sale of merchandise. Therefore, if a WWE star chooses to sell their own products on pro wrestling tees, as we often see AEW wrestlers do, for example, this will be seen as breaking the terms of their deal, and severe repercussions will no doubt be around the corner. Number 5. Independent streaming. Now, though some fans may well know of this shocking new edict, it's likely there's still a large part of the company's self-proclaimed universe that aren't aware of just how much WWE's ban on third-party streaming has affected their current roster. For those not in the know, Vince McMahon told his independent contractors that they had no choice but to shut down their Twitch, Cameo, and any other third-party accounts before the end of October 2020, or risk suspensions, fines, or termination. This meant that the likes of AJ Styles and many more were forced to turn away from a community they'd spent so long building and profiting from off their own backs. If that wasn't enough, the edict also led to Zelina Vega being released from the company as the star refused to obey the company's new strict policy. Vega ultimately opted to stick to streaming on Twitch and using her other third-party platforms instead of dropping them in favor of staying with the company, as the social media accounts earned her more than her WWE wage at the time. Will other stars follow her lead in the future? Only time will tell. Number 4. Having pets backstage. This hasn't always been a rule set in complete stone when it comes to backstage life in WWE. In fact, there was a time when nobody had a problem with various stars and staff members rocking up to events with their beloved pets. But that all changed thanks to some foul-smelling evidence found in the locker room area many moons ago. While speaking on his House of Hardcore podcast recently, Tommy Dreamer revealed that a venue finally complained because there was poop left in the locker room. This was evidently the last straw for Vince McMahon and co. as they promptly opted to ban all staff and wrestlers from bringing their pooches, kittens, tortoises, and whatever other creatures they owned to work with them from then on out. Though it must be rough for stars to have to leave behind their cherished animals for weeks at a time when in the thick of WWE's infamously arduous touring schedule, the move to stop the smell of dog crap overwhelming the backstage area was no doubt a wise one, and likely saved some poor cleaning staff from unexpected pickup duty. Number 3. Bleeding on the canvas. It's pretty much common knowledge at this point that blading is forbidden in Vince McMahon's empire. However, there's another lesser-known blood-related rule which has been present in WWE for quite some time too. According to former Funkasaurus Brodus Clay, the reason he bolted out of the ring after being blasted in the face with a ladder midway through Alberto Del Rio and Christian's World Heavyweight Championship match at Extreme Rules 2011 was because he didn't want to risk getting fined $3,000 for spilling blood on the mat. Speaking during a Reddit AMA, Clay said, "Took a ladder to the head and you get fined by WWE $3K if you bleed on the mat, so I dove out the ring to save $1. Though shedding some color is still largely rare on WWE programming, it does still happen from time to time. It is a highly physical workplace after all, so it's insane to think that a star can have money taken out of their pockets simply due to some of their blood accidentally spilling onto the canvas after an unfortunate collision." Number 2. Getting too friendly with the boss on air. From grappling with Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle on a plane, to taking a doomsday device from the Legion of Doom whilst on the lash with the lads, McMahon seems like the sort of guy who just gets a kick out of getting up close and personal with those taking bumps for him in the ring. However, play fighting with the boss backstage and doing so on live television are two very different things entirely. Something Titus O'Neil found out for himself back in 2016 during Daniel Bryan's retirement episode of Monday Night Raw. As the show went off the air, O'Neil could be spotted play scrapping with the boss as he made his way up the ramp. However, McMahon clearly wasn't in the mood for such an act and angrily shoved the star back. O'Neil was then suspended for 60 days due to unprofessional conduct, though there is an argument to be made that perhaps this wasn't the time or place for physical joshing. The disciplinary action O'Neil received did still feel a bit harsh. However, it did highlight just where the WWE chairman draws the line when it comes to jokingly grappling with his workers. Number 1. Sneezing. Anyone who knows anything about the man at the top of World Wrestling Entertainment will know that Vince McMahon always holds the potential to quickly lose his cool should things not go the way he wishes. Yet it's not just a bad match or lackluster set of ratings that have been known to tick off the billionaire head of WWE. Something as simple as an everyday bodily function can take you straight off the boss's Christmas card list. Everyone from Paul Heyman to Arn Anderson has detailed exactly how quickly McMahon can turn on an employee should they decide to let slip a sudden sneeze in his presence. Hell, Stephanie McMahon has even revealed that her father upsets himself when he unintentionally achooes, citing that his lack of control over the action is what vexes the brains behind the biggest wrestling company in the world. And that's our list. Know of any other things people didn't realize were banned in WWE? Let us know all about them in the comment section below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.